Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Manny, and today I'm going to be doing a book haul of all the books that I've collected over the last month or so, a little bit longer. The first four I got from Books A Million from the bargain section. I love going to Books A Million and looking in the bargain section. You can find pretty new releases for a really good price. So the first one is a middle grade. This one is called Holopox. The first book in this series is called Nevermore. The second book is Wondersmith. I have not read this one yet, but the first book is basically about this girl named Morgan, who everyone thinks is cursed, and she disappears on, I believe, it was her 13th birthday, and she ends up into this magical world, and everyone has a magical gift except for her, so she thinks. A lot takes place from there. I would highly recommend the audiobooks of this. They were incredible. I was fascinated by them the whole time, and even I had my son listening to it for a little while. So that's the first one, Holopox. The second one is, I believe this is YA fantasy. It's called Fireborn. I believe this came out last year. I will just read the synopsis because I don't remember exactly what all it's about. I just know a lot of people say it's really good. So it says Annie and Lee were just children when a brutal revolution changed the world, giving everyone, even the lowborn, a chance to test into the government or into the governing class of dragon riders. Now are both rising stars, and despite their backgrounds, they couldn't be more different. Annie's from a lowborn family, and Lee is from an aristocratic family who was murdered by revolutionaries. It says a war is on the horizon, and yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't want to read the whole thing because it's kind of long and I don't want this video to be super long, but I just believe it's about these two kids that ride dragons, and I guess there's a war involved, so. The next is also a YA fantasy. I heard about this. This is a Devouring Grey. Probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I don't even know when this came out. Let me see. 2019. So yeah, it's been quite a while. I've seen a lot about this when I first started watching booktubers, but I have never read it. I came across it. It was only $5. And there's not a synopsis on the back. Let me see the inside. It says, after the death of her sister, 17-year-old Violet Saunders finds herself dragged into 4 paths. New York. Violet may be a newcomer, but she soon learns her mother isn't. They belong to one of the revered families of the town, where stone bells hang from every doorway and dark lurks in the depths of the woods. I believe it has something to do with basically this gray devouring the town, and it looks interesting and kind of spooky, so I think I might read this for October. I did make a TBR game, so I'll be making a video very shortly on how I made that TBR game, so hopefully I can fit this into some of my prompts. The next is The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. I honestly don't know anything about this other than I believe it's historical fiction, which I'm very interested in. I think the first time I've even heard of this author, I was watching Hannah from The Clockwork Reader. I know she really loves this author, so I think I'm just going to go into this one blind and see how it goes. The next two I actually bought at Barnes & Noble. If you follow me on TikTok, you will already have seen these 2 books because they were my book talk picks that I had bought from Barnes & Noble. First is Goldilocks. It says, for these women, Earth is no longer in the habitable zone. So it's about these women that leave Earth and try to find another habitable planet. I think they go against the people in their current world on Earth, so it's kind of like a secret mission type of thing. But it is sci-fi, it's adult, and I love sci-fi, so I'm sure I'm gonna love this one. I'm reading this one in August. This is only one of 2 books that I had to finish reading for my August TBR. And the second one is The Inheritance Games. She came from nothing. They have everything. Let the games begin. This is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I just finished this book. I read it in probably, I'm gonna say 6 to 8 hours. I finished it definitely in less than a day. It's about this girl named Avery. She is living in her car because her family had died, and well, her mother has passed away. Her dad, she shares a dad with her half sibling, and she is living in a car because her sister has a very abusive boyfriend and she doesn't like to be there. And one day she gets a letter in the mail saying that she needs to be present for a will hearing in Texas. She gets to Texas and the entire Hawthorne family is there for this will reading. And Tobias Hawthorne, who left the will, has very specific instructions on how the will is to be divided up and how his money and properties. Well, his family got very little and Avery Graham's got everything. So it's a kind of a puzzle, and it's games really of her and the family. There are 4 brothers around her age that are trying to figure out why Avery got everything. And yeah, it was really, really good. I already checked out the second book, The Hawthorne Legacy, on my Libby app so I can listen to it because I don't have the physical copy yet. The next 2 books I got at Half Price Books. We were visiting family over the weekend and there was a Half Price Books at 45 minutes away, which is the closest one to where I live because there are none around here. The first one I got is a YA thriller, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is recommended over and over again. I've actually seen this years ago. Let's see when this one was published. I know it's very popular now on TikTok, but this book has been out, since 2019. So I've seen this everywhere on BookTube even back then. It's about a girl named Pip who was in high school and a murder happened. I believe it was 5 years ago. Yes, 5 years ago. A girl at their school was murdered, and everyone believes it was the boyfriend because the boyfriend also killed himself. But she is opening it because she thinks that there was foul play involved. So it's about her digging into the past, which the town does not want her to do. I heard this is incredible as well, so I'm gonna give it a go. The next one I'm probably the most excited for about all these books. I've had my eye on this since the day it was released, and I just haven't bought it yet. I actually bought it on Audible, or I used one of my credits on Audible a couple weeks ago, and then I found this at Half Price Books for $10, and she is a big boy. This is The Pride of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I don't remember exactly what it's about, but I know that the females are in charge in this book. I think there's, I might be mistaken, but I think there's like 4 different kingdoms, and there's a war going on, and there's dragons. So anything with dragons, I'm going to read. Running out of room. And the last book I actually found today at a local used bookstore. I took the kids to go pick out a few books for them so they can get ready for school, and while I was wandering around, I just found this book. It is The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. This is a story, it is a fictional story, but it is based on the true story from, what year was this? Oops, the bookmark just fell out. It looks like 1893, the Chicago World Fair, and it's about the serial killer from that era during the fair that changed history in America, basically. I came across this book, I think it's because I was actually reading Carrie Maniscalco's Stalking Jack the Ripper series, and one of her books, I don't remember the exact one, but one of them actually takes place at Chicago during this fair, and she is following this serial killer. So this came up in like a books you may be interested in reading that was similar. So I'm really excited to read this one. It'll probably be on my TBR this fall. All right. And those are all the books that I have obtained recently. Okay, so those were all the books that I have bought recently, and I'm really excited to get to them. I'm hoping to be able to put some of them on my TBR, from my TBR game. I might just show you a little glimpse. I made a TBR trouble game, and I'm gonna go make another video shortly, going through all of the spaces on here. So hopefully I can fit some of those books into those prompts for next month. And I will be making sorry, my son's looking at me through the door. I'm going to be starting a book club, I think, soon. So once I get that all figured out, it'll be a Facebook group to start. Then I'll post maybe a poll on there of some books to pick, and we'll all vote on which book to read for the book club each month. Well, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.